Hey, good evening, all. Um, Welcome to Off the Record Room. I'm one of the hosts, and I've got my co-host along with me. We are starting on um, a journey. Expected it to be a really interesting one. I've got AJ, who's one of my co-hosts, as well as Hari. We call him Hari. We love to call him Hari. Um, welcome, guys, onto the podcast. Uh, just wanted you guys to kind of go on, say hello. Hi to all of our viewers.
Hi, folks. I'm AJ.
Hey guys, very nice to be on the podcast today. Hope you're all having a great day.
AJ, the thinker.
What was that?
I said AJ, the thinker. Come on.
Alrighty. So what we know what we're gonna talk about. Our audience still don't know. So let me break the ice. So before we dive into the topic, I want to say that all three of us have worked for a single OTT platform in the past, and that's where we met together, and that's where at least my passion started about OTT platform. I had a great time. I had a great journey. I learned a lot. So this particular episode, which we are doing, is about OTT streaming platform, and one I've been watching a lot lately because it's totally free and I don't have to pay for that. And I'm talking about Tubi as a platform.
Mm-hmm.
So let me share something about Tubi because I have Netflix as well, and we all had Netflix as well, and then we have Hulu's and Disney Plus. So Netflix taught people to pay for streaming. Tubi taught them that they don't have to. And Tubi content is so great that I couldn't appreciate more. And then in 2020, Fox bought free streaming app, which is Tubi, for about $440 million. To me, it's a decent pocket change. But you know what? When Tubi started, and you all know, like, it started around 2015. Nobody knew, nobody respected Tubi, you know what it was. But over time, it has won our hearts. And then 5 years later, starting from 2025, the same streaming app hosted the very first Super Bowl in the history of free streaming platforms. And do you guys have any idea how many people watched that?
No,
As of
this was
today?
5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a few
Yeah.
million. I don't know how much is it.
Approximately 14 million people watched that.
Yeah, that was their first live broadcast.
That's the first live. Yeah.
Absolutely.
14
That was
million.
a whammer.
Yeah. Do you guys remember when we had a Mike Tyson fight on the Netflix?
Oh yeah,
Abs-
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
2025,
Uh-huh.
2025, and yeah, that was a
Yeah.
interesting.
The reason I'm bringing that up, I watched that fight because I like Tyson, but I watched it like how they're gonna capture the latency issue because there was so much hype about that fight, and I had multiple latency issues on my TV when I was watching it. But you know what? Funny thing, when I was watching Super Bowl, I didn't have anything.
So all I remember was Jake Paul just let Mike
Yep.
Tyson go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the
Uh,
the entire paradigm was also kind of shifting. Just imagine the young versus the old. The what do you call the Goliath of the industries coming together.
But
yeah.
that was hyped up so much, right? It was pending for
Yep.
like they canceled it multiple times, they postponed it multiple times, and then
They did
eventually
cancel
it
it?
happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it was supposed to happen like 6 months before when it happened. And then
Okay.
they postponed it. Mike Tyson was not doing it for a while, and then eventually he was in good shape to have the fight.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
That's where
Uh,
I believe we've used that pretty commonly, like a term laying on the floor, right? The David and Goliath kind of thing. That's the reason I
yeah.
keep kind of going back to it. Brands in terms of David and Goliath, uh, performers in terms of David and Goliath, technologies in terms of David and Goliath.
Oh yeah,
It was amazing. It was worth a watch.
yep.
However,
But
it's not.
anyways, yeah. So how many people watched that fight on Netflix?
I think the numbers which I got were approximately like 120 million people watched. It was a blend of a VPN and as well as on non-VPN channels. But let's go back to our Tubi so we can
Mhm.
focus So this is the story about Tubi, like how it started, then, how things are happening and evolving, the company which acquired Tubi, and then the Super Bowl story. And then this is one of the biggest media success, I think, about 2025 and 2026, and nobody's talking about that. So I thought that would be a very fascinating topic to share and educate and have a very fun conversation with our audience. And then on
Hmm.
top of that, recently, we all know about it that Fox, who acquired Tubi, is acquiring another platform for a $22 billion. And we'll dive into that as well, like why they're doing it, what's their notion behind it. But let's start with the story of Tubi. So now let's say Tubi, is this, I want to know both of your opinions. We all have our opinions. I want to know what Syed and Hari think. Like, is Murdoch family who acquired Fox and now Tubi, do you think Tubi was their smartest bet or they just got lucky?
I mean, when they made the bet, I think they got lucky. I can't imagine you could have made an informed decision about fast when they made the bet. Or maybe somebody had really good insights into the industry and they just wanted to make a very calculated bet.
I believe they were. You're right. I would kind of take a bit of a detour and then kind of hit back again. If you look recently, and you've got it right, most of the industry today in streaming, or you call pay TV, is seeing an uprise, right? In terms of the business falling down, everybody's trying to make sure that they're relevant. Imagine what happened with Warner Brother. I always believe Netflix going on a war footing to acquire Warner, and then you had Skydance and Paramount getting together with the huge amount of funding backup and coming into the fight. Eventually, it was all about market placements,
Hmm.
right? Who has the pie? Who kind of takes the pie? Who walks away with the strongest market presence? And Warner Brother acquisition kind of would give that elevation. So I believe Murdoch family also tried to do it. I'm saying if you want to stay relevant, if you want to stay in, there are actually big guys putting in their hands. Maybe what Hari said is right. Um, to an extent, they just got lucky. We wouldn't say anything else, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
interesting times.
one thing which was good going on for Tubi, and say you and I talked about in the past as well, before Fox acquired them, they had decent subscribers. I think I still remember, if memory serves well, they had approximately 15 million subscribers, monthly active users. And that's
Hmm.
a decent number on an ad platform. Even before the content which Fox is showing now, they had a bit crappy and a junky content. Even on that content, if they were hitting 15 million people, that tells you, like, you know, that's a strong goal. So maybe it's a bit more than a bet, maybe a calculated bet, and they saw the vision, like, let's go for it, because Pluto already existed. Remember Crackle
Hmm.
Hmm.
back in
Yeah.
old days? Yeah, that was already there, but they couldn't exit with a bang, and Tubi was just there, so that was a very, maybe it was a smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they saw Tubi growing and they just jumped in just at the right time, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Actually.
think about it. There are other platforms, ad-free, stream-free platforms, no names mentioned. They're not hitting their numbers, but this underdog came out of nowhere and boom, from 0 to 15 before they got acquired, they jumped over there. So kudos to them, man. But before we get into that, let's talk about the guy actually who started that. Not many people know about him actually. Like, what's the backstory and how the money machine, how's he printing money, for Tubi? We have the content, we all know, but content is one part of the equation. The second part is ad insertion, their CPMs. So this guy, the fellow I'm talking about, is Farhad Massoudi. The fellow
Ah.
came in US, he did his bachelor's from Berkeley and master's in engineering and computer sciences. And the guy started AdRise company. We all know about AdRise because we all are a part of an ad insertion business.
Hmm. I
Hmm.
And
yeah.
then that gave the birth to Tubi. So one thing I think he did smart, which not other guys did, he started the ad business first, and then he jumped into content, and then he mingled and started the marriage between them. So that was your birth of ad insertion free platform, a true ad insertion free platforms. And then it was rolling dough for him after that.
So they did not really start up as a content provider. They did not have content up front. They just started as an ad business.
Yeah, yeah. And
Uh,
one thing which I learned actually when I was doing the research, that Tubi fellows, their whole marketing team, they actually went to distribution centers. So they said, like, hey guys, do you have all the content which is just piling dust on your shelves? Give us that. we will partner with you, and then all your B grade movies and all your C grade movies, doesn't matter if it's in English or Spanish or Asian Pacific language or Southeast Asian Pacific languages, give us the content. We will provide you the revenue stream because it's just piling dust for you, and let's just go from there. And that really helped them because it wasn't like a genre sections for them. That was their main core strategy to bring. And we'll talk more into that as well. But I just wanted to showcase and give kudos to the guy actually who started that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I believe again. I've got a I've got a bit of a I would say a different philosophy behind it. Imagine what streaming was even before streaming came into existence. One of the biggest problems the industry was also facing at that point of time, and I think I would say for Farhad it was again kind of a luck factor, a win-win situation, or he foresaw what was coming in. Streaming predominantly is what happened out there is it just promised freedom from cable. Imagine how those cable operators were. We've all been part of those cable era, right? I mean, you go to the cable operators, you need to run a specific genre or something that you need to pay extra. And they were kind of, your bills were mounting. There was too much of fragmentation going around. And that basically also what kind of gave rise saying, how do we free everybody up from cable industry? And that's ideally where I believe streaming kind of came in as one of the requirements or needs of the industry at that point of time.
But
With
streaming had
yeah,
started. Streaming had started even before that, right? But the point was even Netflix and all these Amazon Prime and everything were everybody were connected collecting money. There were too many
hmm
subscriptions involved already,
correct.
and that was a saturated market already. So like, I guess people were really looking for free television and free content to watch online through a streaming platform, and I guess the timing mattered a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the industry seems to be seeding a lot, and I believe it's going to happen more.
Yeah.
Nice point, but yeah, let's move
Yeah.
on. I think we've got a couple of things that we need to touch
Yeah, and
base
I
on.
think it's a psychological factor. Like, you go to any fast food, you spend more than 15, $20. But when it comes to have those paid subscriptions online, you want to be very choosy about that, and you
Yeah.
want to be very restrict and money conservative. So, this was a bang for the buck because what Tubi did when I was looking into that, they just did not just focus on single type of content. They focused on black-led films. They focused on Spanish content. They focused on kids font and good kids content, and then they focused on Nollywood. And Nollywood is Nigerian movie industry, one of the biggest ones in continental Africa. And then the bundle of all this was approximately 97 million. That's a decent amount of subscribers, when you can think about that. And that was the thing which Pluto, Crackle, and other streaming platforms couldn't capture because for them, I thought it was just a check mark like, hey, we have Spanish content, we have Bollywood content, we have old Western movies. But for these guys, they focused, they shined that. When we have an
But
African, go ahead.
But they didn't really care about the quality of the content, I think.
True.
Yep.
They just, yeah, everybody else was
Yeah.
really focused on getting the really quality content, really relevant, and everybody wants to watch kind of content. These guys just went ahead and just put
They just
anything and
dumped it
everything up.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
And I think that's how, even if you look, what YouTube TV also did was similar to that, right? How did they come in? YouTube today, they dumped
Yeah.
everything out there. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody could make shorts, anybody could do something. People just all of a sudden rose to the spotlight.
Yeah.
I believe that was ideally where. I mean, just bring in anything that you can, any crap, and people will watch. So that was
But
that's
Exactly.
fresh.
YouTube's algorithms way different though. It's very very specific to yourself, and they
Yeah,
do a lot of groundwork before they show something in your front page and all that. But
correct.
Tubi's algorithm I hope is not that great. At least for an initial viewer, it just gives you all sorts of content.
Uh-huh.
You just go into it and just pick your choice.
I think the reason they did that because they actually didn't have any brand to protect. They just wanted
Yeah,
to dump everything over there. Like, let's talk about, I love Game of Thrones, right? So the moment we talk about that, HBO comes in mind. And when we say talk about HBO, it's a prime price we pay for that. It's not
Yep.
less than $15. Over here, when you dump so much crapload of stuff, you'll find something good. even if it's like 1 in the morning, or like prime example, my family is not home, I'm watching TV, I'll turn the Tubi on, it's in the background, something is running. So even if something is running, they're collecting data, ads are still running, they're making money. So it was like something is in the background.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think Tubi, to the very point that you mentioned, right? They kind of understood um, the need of the hour, the segmentation that we talk about. They kind of started to play around with the segments, and that's where people like, oh, it's free. It's got the segments that we need for what we're looking for, and I believe that also is one of the success factors for how big they became all of a sudden.
And the
And
width
Yeah.
of their customer base is just so wide, right? You can get a lot of people online and serve too many ads all at the same
correct.
time.
Yep.
It's just a fun business to be in. You just Nobody pays to you, but you're just using their time and attention to make money. That's just the
And I think that's
best case
basically
scenario.
where they were smart, right? They, because one of the core aspect what AJ also brought about, they were not a streaming industries. They came into an ad industry, and then they realized that with ads and the amount of data they've got, what could they sell, and that's how it kind of became history. So that's basically what I felt. For Fareed, it was for Farhad, it was like, yeah, it was a luck. Everything, the stars were aligning. They
Mhm.
And
lined up.
that guy is not from Hollywood. He's like a pure soul engineer, hardcore guy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I want to talk about Super Bowl because that's their mic drop moment for Tubi. So before I give you a bit of a background and one really great insights, let me share some numbers with you. So as we all know, and I called out earlier today, that first free streamer in the history of histories who carried the Super Bowl. That number one. Then 13.6 million average minutes audience, 15.5 million peak concurrent views, and then 24 million unique devices on the game day.
Hmm.
Let me repeat again, 24 million unique devices that one single day, like 6 hours or so. And then on top of that, what I learned, Nielsen data just told that on that particular Super Bowl game, 33% online streaming was getting captured alone on Tubi. That's a lot. That's massive. Not Netflix, not Amazon Prime, not YouTube. Tubi, a free stream underdog came and boom. And I think that was a moment for Fox. You know what? Now we need to reassess our thinking. But
They got
but there's go ahead.
33% of the audience. Man, that's
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
third
And I had to
all in the first shot is just too much.
check
Absolutely.
those numbers over and over. I was like, maybe that's wrong. But when I checked on Tubi and Fox and Nielsen and Obi, every single one of them, no, 1/3 of the streaming that particular day was Tubi.
But
Yeah.
how did they happen to just get all those customers on their first gig?
Their
I would
marketing.
say they're marketing minds, and
Yeah.
somehow they work. I believe some of the current underdogs need to learn from them. And
Yeah.
like we keep on saying, we don't want to throw brand names inside, because then um, it might kind of hurt a lot of other people in terms of sensitivity. But I believe I could call Tubi today, like what you rightfully mentioned. They were the marketing gurus. They understood how to capitalize, right?
But
Just
what was special about their ad? Did they do anything weird with their ad?
There's
I
one
heard some
thing,
new.
yeah, there was one thing which was really great which they did, which I did not know. So what they did, that yes, we can watch movies and content free on Tubi, but for that particular game, if you had to watch the Super Bowl game, you had to create your free account. So when
Ah,
people were watching Super Bowl, they had to
Mhm.
create that, and then that one Sunday, Fox converted like millions of anonymous users into logged in accounts. And that was a game changer for them. Like imagine their names, email, their behavior, what device they're watching on. That's like a first party data, which we pay shitload of money to get, and they got it free. They didn't get it for free. They showed Super Bowl, but it was like a win-win. You're getting the household data, and then on top of that, your ads. They cut down their prices for ads, and that's where they were rolling so much on that. So it was a double win for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the secret recipe, right? I mean, they got the secret recipe.
Yeah.
so how
That
many people signed up on that first day? when they were
I
showing the
want to
Super
say
Bowl?
that, I mean, the concurrent views are like 15 million. So let's say ball figure and anywhere somewhere from 15 to 20 million people signed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
decent number because people
One
who are
day.
watching like, yeah, I mean, like I love Super Bowl, so if I had to watch it for free rather than going on other platforms, I had to sign up, and I was like, that's fine. You just take my email, my name. I don't care. I just want to watch it for free. There's nothing else they were asking for. That was it. Yeah,
Because they were concurrent, probably you could say at least it is 15 million to
yeah,
be on a safer side, or even if you,
approximately.
yeah, even if you could get 50 to 60% of those 15 million concurrent views to kind of sign up for free, that's a huge number to
and
go with.
and that was the moment Fox realized, you know
Mm.
what, there is something more, and they started looking Roku and other platforms and to be something differently.
Hmm.
Now, I
Absolutely.
can't. Yeah, no, I kind of give the hint about Roku as well. I want to talk about Roku as well. So tell me, what do you guys know about Roku and why Roku is important for our conversation? So let's give a hint to our audience now.
Anybody
I mean,
wants to? Yeah.
I'm just a Roku user, man. I got a free Roku device for some subscription. I've just been using it with it for a while now. But they're pretty decent as well. They have a fun list of apps on their platform, and they're like device agnostic for 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 the most part, right? They just changed the game a little bit as well when they came in.
Yeah. I think for it, Roku also became a major player in terms of when people started to understand. Just imagine you've got a simple screen like a television going on. Maybe
Hmm.
probably you have internet or you need to play around. A device that attached and kind of opened the world of applications from where you could stream, you could host. That concept of, hey, I mean, just imagine it's not a single box or something lying around the television. It connects you and opens your world into applications. That's basically where they started off. Their paradigm shift was bring them on. I'll give you all
Yeah.
these applications on this particular.
Yeah, but at the time there were not
Yeah,
too many smart TVs around. Not everybody
correct.
had a smart TV at home.
Correct.
It basically made my TV smart, right?
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it
Yep.
it just brought in all the apps. I can watch anything, YouTube or HBO or Sling or whatever I want to watch. I
Correct.
can just watch it plugging
Yeah.
in the device.
So
Absolutely.
I
I
think,
mean,
go ahead, Sayed.
no, no, go on, go on. It's like you
That
work.
was I think that was the one of the magical recipes, ingredient portion, what was missing from Murdoch's family. So if I think about it, Murdoch family realized like, look, we have so many subscribers who subscribe to watch the Super Bowl game. We have crap load of data now, but we are still an app.
Mhm.
What if we have a platform as well? Because we are renting a space right now, but we don't own the building. They wanted to own the building. So like Netflix, their ad insertion business is mingled with Microsoft. Tubi built their own internal ad business. That's where Farhad got really lucky, and he built that system inside out. So when Fox acquired, they they actually bought that building, but they wanted to go bigger. So now imagine it's still Tubi still controls your app, because in its app, but your living room home screen, your operating system, your household data, that all belong to either the Amazon Fire Stick or Google, and then Roku's of the world. So Fox realized, you know what, we have to be, but now we don't want to be a renter. We want to own the building. So they made another big bet, and that's what I was talking about. $22 billion. They are trying to, pay Roku to acquire their entire end-to-end system. And that says something because I just learned there are 100 million household devices as of right now in 2026 for Roku. That's
Yep.
a that's massive. So I don't think, and I would love to know your, intake on that. I still don't think that they are acquiring the platform for the sake of a platform. I think they're acquiring the data
Of
and they
course.
want to
Yeah.
utilize that. So let's dive into that, because we all came from data world as well. So it's a bigger industry. Or the other side can be that maybe Roku is not doing well, and then Murdoch family is also not doing well, and they just thought that it might be our way out from the news industry and merge into the streaming world.
I believe
So yeah,
I mean, you to an extent you've got that there, and also you got to understand that with Roku, or you talk Bitmovies, or we talk Apple, they've got their own OS stacks, right? So that's ideally what today, if you kind of go back a little and a bit more deep dive, you'll understand Roku is changing their entire OS stack today, right? Any of the publishers who are still latched on to Roku with the older stacks, Roku is forcing them to come back and kind of acclimate to their new OS. The entire, I don't want to do more of deep dive into technicality in terms of their um, application layers as well, saying what needs to be done, the platform itself. The only thing that I believe Roku was missing, though they had 100 million households, imagine Roku also did a bit of acquisition. If you go a couple of steps back, AJ, you and I kind of had discussed about it, Friendly TV. Friendly TV,
Yes, I forgot
yeah.
about that. Yes.
Imagine where that acquisition helped them out. Friendly TV was all about the fast services, everything that was already there. Those contracts never existed with Roku, right?
Do you
So it
want to give a
was
fun fact,
yeah.
like who started the Friendly TV? Hari, do you know who started the Friendly TV?
I don't know who did.
All right, I'll let
Our
Syed tell
seniors.
you that. And yeah.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't take names because I don't know. I mean, we don't want to get into those. What do you say? The intellectual properties. They're all our seniors where we started our career with. They're all our seniors, ex
I see.
Dish.
I mean, there's no there. We are not doing anything wrong. Let's just say we
Yeah.
all work for Sling, you know. So they were Sling pioneers in some shape and form, and they're
Yes.
Denver-based fellows actually.
Yeah,
So
they're all
they
Denver-based
yeah
engineers or entrepreneurs or kind of
yeah
strategy visionary guys who actually started Friendly.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
They had
then
contracts with them, even though their platform was very crappy. I would say that. And
yeah, it's
don't
still really crappy. Like when you and I were doing the research, and we saw that, I was like, man, I mean, this is just a very normal, very mundane platform, but they still, I can't remember. Do you remember how much they paid for that? I mean,
it
how
was a
much Roku?
$5, I believe, subscription.
No, no,
One
no,
was
no,
the
no.
lowest.
How much
Oh,
Roku bought?
160 million.
Jesus, that's a decent penny
It
for
was
that.
around
Yeah,
160. Yeah, I think it was around $160 million is basically what they were paid to acquire. And then just imagine, I would say 6 months to 1 year post into acquisition, Roku gets acquired for those $1 billion. Just
yeah.
imagine that a shark eating a fish, and then it's a whale that comes in and bites the shark off, right? So that's how the whole paradigm of the business looks like.
So talk to me about this, and which is something which is kind of interesting, and I don't know how the time will unfold. So now imagine tomorrow comes and the acquisition goes through, everything is good and dandy, and you have Tubi on the Roku platform. What's the future for Tubi now? What's gonna happen to Tubi then? Is it just gonna become one of those isolated apps on Roku platform, or is it gonna do something else? Because people are worried about that, because this weird ass platform which showed crappy content, junky content, underdog got really big, and now here we are.
A 1 minute take on that from my side, I would tell you it's a very simple thing. Again, it's all right because we've all come from Dish or X or currently, but imagine today in the industry when you talk broadcasting and you talk streaming, the very few brands who've got it all, and I feel really proud when I say I'm kind of all of us have been with Dish or are with Dish. Imagine what today, okay, let's not say Dish, EchoStar. What they've got is they've got the entire portfolio, right? They've got satellite, they've got streaming, they've got uplink and downlink. Everything comes together. So they've
And the
got the
telecom as well, Boost
telecom
Mobile,
as
don't
well.
forget that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that way, if you look at Charlie's vision, the way he took everything out, it's an amazing brand and amazing philosophy or strategy that he built around. But if you look at Fox was all into broadcasting. It was all about behind live. You go to the live events from there, where we talk about probably some of our future podcasts. We're gonna speak about it. Fox just had that. They had to build those platforms. Then Roku, imagine that they had a device, which Hari rightfully said, any dumb TV could become a smart TV. That's what Roku kind of their recipe was. Tubi's recipe was with regards to their ad insertions, how to play around with ad and streaming. Now Fox has kind of put everything together, saying now we've got a complete package. So it's going to become a very very interesting.
Yeah.
Say to some of the other brands who are kind of leading the markets like Netflix and Amazon, whoever you look like, you have to go the entire 90 years.
Yeah,
And so that's my
but that gives them the width of the customer base, right? So
correct.
you're not serving only one segment of the customers. You have like a wide variety of customers, people who don't want to pay, who are who are who don't make enough money, various segments, right? Who are in the niche skill, who make a lot of money, who don't care about how much they pay for subscriptions. So all sorts of customers are on this platform now.
Correct. Correct. I think that's really an interesting mix of things, bag of things. We'll have to kind of see how the future unfolds itself. But yeah, I mean, we need a couple more of these podcasts. I know that time is going to start running out on us.
Yeah. So we'll wrap
Nonetheless,
up on this, but one thing I want to call out, and we have to watch for the year 2027, 2028, when this deal will get finalized and up and running, and we have all the signs up from the shareholders and board of trustees. I really want to see, I really hope Tubi still exists and it not just becomes one of the apps on operating platform. And then, I mean, Anjali, who is the current CEO of Tubi, I wish her best of luck as well, because she really started this something from ground up. The vision she had, I mean, like, I can't even imagine. And she's very young CEO. I believe she's in her mid 40s, and then she just took the game from a 0 to 100% within decade, actually, or less than that. So we'll see how this plays out. And then we also have to keep an eye on Time Warner. We also have to keep an eye on Netflix. I'm sure Netflix is looking into this very well, because they want to acquire something next, because they're just waiting.
they're,
You know?
we'll talk about those, like you said.
Yeah.
They're a different league of monstrosity that they're getting into.
Yeah.
You have to keep a watch on them. Keep an eye, because they're changing everything really fast.
But I really miss some good old days, like when you paid for Netflix, there was no ads on Netflix. When you paid for a subscription, there were no ads on that platform at some point. But you don't get ad-free platforms anymore. When you
Yep.
get ads at some level.
Correct.
One of the episodes we must do, what is the future of ad industry? Because our children, when they're gonna live on these apps, how ads gonna look in their time era?
Yep.
I don't know, because the way ads are showing us today and the way ad companies are making money today, they have to reassess their models, because these kids, our kids, all of us have kids. I don't know they will give a damn about these ads. I think they will give a damn about paying $20 and then just call it quits, because there are some platforms we all know of, they show 3 minutes of ads, and I really want to shoot myself when I watch that. And the repetition of ads, that's also very annoying. So
At least
we'll
give me a
see.
variety of ads.
Give me the
Don't
variety of ads.
don't show
Not
me the
even
same
that.
ad over and over.
Yeah. And then don't show me an ad, what's going on in Hawaii and Africa. I'm based in Denver, so show me ads related to mountains, so stuff like that. So we'll see how
Interesting,
things
Ajay.
evolve.
You just
Yeah.
want to be super well targeted.
Yeah.
You don't want to get random ads.
I mean, come on, we all have seen that, so we'll see. But let's see how things evolve. And I would love to hear from our audience, what they have to say. I'm sure when we're gonna post this, we will love to invite other folks if they want to speak on this topic or any other topic on OTT platforms, and then more is to come, like Syed and Ari said, and we'll have more fascinating topics, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Well, it was fun. And yeah, keep watching out for the space. I would say, like, off the record room has kind of elevated, transitioned itself from multiple forums and platforms. So interesting to have you guys. I think it's gonna be a fun road. So we've left a lot of things. We'll have to come back again. So Tubi is still not done.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe our channel. It's gonna be on YouTube, and we're gonna be publishing this on Spotify as well, by the way.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time,
next
guys.
time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Next time.
Bye.